Joe, I finally get to see you after so many times of you, being on the other side. But I'm so happy to meet you and get to see you. And I think you really have some great points, Joe. I understand where you're coming from. But Tony is right. I mean, if you do the research, a lot of stuff is stemmed from the one parent in the home, And a lot of times, some of these children, our mothers were drug addicts. It's a sad situation, but we have to face reality. I think we should get to the root of the problem and go back to the moral system and work our way up from there. Thank you so much, Joe.
Have a good night.
So she gave you a compliment there. She was excited to see you, Joe, but then she kind of disagreed with you. What do you think about that?
I want to say it again. No more excuses. I don't even want to get into my own personal story. No more excuses. The school cannot be a social agency. It got to be a place of education. If you cannot save everyone, fine, so be it. It's just like if you can't get on the bus, guess what? You got to have to stand there, wait till the next one comes. Because we cannot slow things down for that one monkey.
All right, let's see what they have to say to you, Joe. I think somebody else is out there. Hello?
Hello, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm all right.
Good.
I wanted to address that excuse issue with the brother over there.
Okay.
Because he made a good point. And he was talking about how other people come over here and do things. He's missing the origin. You got to go to the origin when there's a problem like that. And we are the only people that didn't come over here looking for a better living. So, when you say excuses, we've been controlled for centuries. And that's got, when they take your man,
that's not even an excuse no more.
Do a little something with education.
That's not even an excuse no more, because last week or so I said it only take one generation to get out of poverty. Only one generation. So that's no longer an excuse as well.
So I just want to throw this out there. Is it making excuses, or is it trying our best to deal with the hand that we were dealt? Because I know Tony and some others are talking about, not necessarily making excuses, but there's some key indicators that are coinciding with the issues in our school system that are probably something we need to deal with in order to get our students up to the next level. But I'm going to leave that for you all to talk about. But I think that's something we need to deal with. Are we really making excuses, or trying to do the best with what we have? So let's see what you have to say about that.
We got to have personal responsibility. That's one of the things the president was talking about, personal responsibility.
Hello there.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you have a comment for us?
Yes, I have a comment. Joe?
Yes.
Yes. Joe?
Yes.
I would like to say that I totally agree with you 100%, because I feel that making excuses for those that fought for education during the civil rights movement is sort of like a slap in the face. Because
it is.
I had uncles that grew up in the South, and they was driven by poverty. They was not as educated. They just basically could read and write, and they managed to move from the South, move out to the West, and they became very successful businessmen. And I agree with you 100%, Joe. There should be no more excuses, especially when it comes to the black race. There's no excuse at all. The education is out there. The information is out there. And I agree. I'm sick and tired of people blaming other people for their own failure. Now, we can look at this as a group thing or as an individual thing, or as both. So, Joe, you keep up the good work. I support you. I salute you. And you're absolutely right. No more excuses.
I don't get my own personal story if I may.
Sure.
I was a very sickly child. The doctors told my parents that the best I could do in school, maybe he get as far as the third grade. And the best thing you could do, maybe put him in a hospital. I couldn't speak really until where people could understand me. At that particular time, what they did to children that couldn't really speak too well, and I ain't kidding, it sound like barbarism now. They split their tongue. Now, I went on, graduated from high school, went on to college, got a degree in computer information system, worked with some of the most sophisticated computer systems there in the world. I wound up being an ex-Marine, got the highest rank of sergeant. And this is a guy that the doctor said that he wouldn't get no further than to pass the third grade. And the best thing you could do for him is put them in the hospital, let the state take care of them. And my mother, my father, they didn't give up on me. And one of the things that they did was, that I was talking about last week, maybe you got to do a little bit of that progressive discipline.
Interesting. I'm glad you shared your story with us, too. Okay, let's see who else is out there for you, Joe.
Yeah, hi. Just when you thought it was safe, I'm back.
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
I know you got some darts thrown at me.
No problem. It's not about throwing darts. It's about.
But we answered my question I had for you. Do you feel the same way about magnet schools?
I despise magnet schools. I despise magnet schools, and I despise charter schools, and I'll tell you why.
I can understand your feeling about charter schools, but they haven't really, according to the data, they haven't really fulfilled their promise.
Well, let me just, charter schools and magnet schools kind of like the same thing. These are schools that exclude the majority of students. They are, a select few are given additional resources. A select few are given smaller class sizes, so they're actually given greater odds to succeed, Joe. And the fact of the matter is, they're used to distract us from the true reality of the public school system.
Interesting.
So when you think about it, the fact is real simple. It's real clear. When we talk about the abysmal record, now understand, Mayor Daley once ran as the education mayor. And if you were to judge him on the results of our educational system here in Chicago, then you've got to say that we have a dropout rate close to 60%. We have schools that are in dilapidated conditions. We have students that are killing each other in and around the school system. So if you want to be judged on the results of the public school system here in Chicago, it's worse than a failing grade. But then if you create certain charter schools, give them additional money, give them smaller class sizes, you can say, hey, wait a minute, look at our charter schools. Hey, wait a minute, look at the magnet schools. Look how well they're doing. Well, you don't judge anything in any kind of analysis on a small sample size that is not proportionate to the reality of the entire system. The reality of the entire system is we have too many kids in one classroom. We don't have enough resources. They when they set it up by saying, okay, resources are going to be given out based on the property taxes in given neighborhoods.
Are you ready for me,
that
Tony?
was a system that was created knowing that you're going to have a great majority of poor neighborhoods in Chicago, and those neighborhoods are going to be black and brown students. So the whole system was designed to ensure a large degree of failure that will prevent the uplifting of the middle class, that will prevent the uplifting of people that will become voters. So
now I get a chance
you have to commit yourself to the reality of what we're talking about, and then you talk about no excuses. Let's not excuse the fact that don't have the opportunity. Let's not excuse the fact that these kids are in a deplorable condition, but most importantly,
now can I get a chance to respond, Tony?
My final point. Most importantly,
now I get a chance to respond, Tony?
The public schools. When we have all these kids that are murdered...
Tony, you're getting like Paula.
Okay, one moment. When we have all these kids that are murdered, some of these children live right next door to kids that go to...
Tony, you're making a speech now.
...private school systems. Why is it that the kids that are murdered are all public school students, and some of them live on the same block with kids that go to private schools?
Are you going to give me opportunities to respond to you, Tony?
Go ahead.
First of all, Tony, the magnet schools are like an oasis, okay? All the student have to do to get into a magnet school is pass that test to get in.
That's not necessarily true.
Yes, you do. Wait. All they gotta do is meet the standard. Wait, Tony, allow me a chance to respond, Tony. Allow me a chance to respond.
Okay, sir.
Okay? One time in the city of Chicago, a parent really only had two choices. Public school or private school. Okay, because the one time, if you look at the magnet school was brought up because people wanted better quality education. At one time in the city of Chicago, if you look at the facts, back in 1978, the Archdiocese had 300,000 children in private school. Now they have 80,000. Okay? People seen that the magnet school can really compete. They can get the quality education. Now, once again, if you want your child to get that